Instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod. Well, and here we go with lucky number 13 on the episodes of Flagstick Podcast. I am Jeff Botter, one of your hosts, and with me as always is Scott McLeod. And this episode and the next few episodes of Flagstick Podcast are brought to you by Srixon golf balls. Now, I've personally been using the Srixon golf ball for a while, and it has been perfect for my game. Whether you're looking for a premium urethane golf ball in the Z-Star series, a quality budget option with the soft feel, or somewhere in the middle with the Q-Star Tour, Srixon Golf is bound to present an option that'll work for your game. For more information, visit Srixon.ca. All right, nice. Scott. Wow. Now, I golfed.
You did.
And we golfed together. We had the opportunity, and I know we're going to get into a little bit more of this in the back nine, but this is a kind of a top of mind thing because it just happened. Yeah. I played golf with you and our good friend Derek McDonald from Royal Ottawa and his wife Jenny. Yep. Love Jenny. She's such a sweetheart and she's so friggin' funny. But had a great day on the at the golf course. We played in the media day for the CP Women's Open at the Ottawa Hunt Golf Club, and what an awesome day it was, right? Like, I mean, it was just gorgeous out for one thing, and the course was in amazing shape for another thing, and I didn't hit it sideways every shot for another thing, which meant that the day was a raging success. Raging success.
Yeah, we hadn't played. I mean, to be fair, we hadn't played in actually a couple of years, which is hard to believe. I mean, normally, obviously, we get a number of games in during the year. We've done a lot of road trips together and things like that. But, with the pandemic, everybody being busy, all sorts of different things. So it was nice to have that opportunity to kind of be together for that game of golf for sure. And wrapped in, obviously, the important happenings that were, taking place during the day for the CP Women's Open. Yeah,
it was great. And it was nice. We did get to hit one extra shot.
Should we just explain that now? What happened?
Well, yeah,
I will take the heat for it.
I've got to take the heat for this one because when you get the cart, when you're sitting in the driver's seat of the cart, you assume the responsibility of traveling, especially in a shotgun, to the correct hole when you need to go there. Unfortunately, we started on the 16th hole. Yes, we started on the 16th.
So you don't even know.
No, I remember. We started on the 16th hole, played 16, 17, and 18 on the south course. Yeah. And it was the southwest combination at Ottawa Hunt. And after we finished the 18th, Scott proceeds to drive the cart across the road over to the 10th, which was, one west, to the 10th. And we proceed to play. Now, the funny part was, had we not realized after hitting our tee shots that it was a par 5 and not a par 4 that we were playing, we probably would have kept going for a while.
We might have,
but Scott realized the error of his ways.
I did,
because he is the one that noticed.
But the funny part was the fact, I'm like, hey guys, we're on the wrong hole. But the funnier part was the fact that the group behind us hadn't even caught us, or it came close to us. So it didn't matter anyways. We were worried. We go back over to the tee. We're like, oh no, we're going to have to find our spot back in the shotgun in the order of play. Not so much. And I mean, I think we were 2 holes ahead of them pretty quickly beyond that. But,
not the pace of play was particularly slow out there. It wasn't by any means, but we were particularly quick. Like, there is no fooling around in our group when it came to hitting shots. We were at the ball and playing ready golf, and it was just a blast though. It was an absolute blast. And I finally got to hit my my new golf clubs, my new as fate would have it, my new Srixon,
which we'll get into in the product watch later.
Yeah, which is interesting because that is not on purpose.
No, not at all.
By design, the product watch iron that we intended on talking about this week just happens to be the new club, the new irons that I'm playing, and we just happened to play yesterday. So, it is what it is, as they say. And but boy, we have we're troopers. We get that done, and we're back at it again today, getting the podcast recorded for the long weekend ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And man, we got a really good show.
Because it wasn't just golf yesterday, obviously.
No, well, that's the thing. It's a media day, and media days, generally speaking, there's some golf involved. There's some food involved. There's some drink involved for those who want to partake in that. But there's media. There's a press conference associated with it, or press component to it, and they had a main press conference where they kind of explained everything that was going on with the upcoming CP Women's Open at the Ottawa Hunt. Some people got up and spoke. Some special awards, honors were given out, particularly to Brooke Henderson.
Yep. And
it also gives us the opportunity, in your case, of sitting down with a few people and having some conversations. Some other announcements were made. And I don't know when you want to get into that side of it, Scott. I know we've got the interviews with in the back half of the back nine. We've got an interview with Ryan Paul, the tournament director for CP Women's Open that you did. We got an interview with Lorie Kane, and Canada's sweetheart, for years and years and years in women's golf and golf in general. And of course, we got an interview with Ottawa's own, Smith Falls' own, Ottawa's own, Brooke Henderson, who was on hand for media availability as well. So we got those 3 interviews in the back nine this week, which is simply awesome. So I don't know how much of the CP you want to talk about now, but before we get to, we obviously can get into that, but we're also going to have our regular lesson tee with Kevin Haime in the back nine, that he's going to explain proper hand and arm motion. I know there's a tennis racket or some funky design tennis racket that he created himself, involved in that golf tip. But we got to get to the front nine stuff, and maybe we'll throw some of the CP stuff into the front nine as well this week. But the front nine is presented, as always, by our good friends at Metcalfe Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. Looking for fun golf at a great rate? Save 15% when you prepay at metcalfegolf.com. So head on over there to metcalfegolf.com and book or buy your prepay passes. All right. So let's get into the front nine, Scott. What do you want to?
Why don't we just get right into the CP stuff? And obviously we have some other news and things that we want to talk about as well. But
yes,
since we're already discussing the CP, I mean, I guess a couple of things. First off, we saw Eric Ruse, the superintendent, out there and his team, and
familiar spot probably for him these days, right?
Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, as we've talked about on this podcast, we had that Derico storm that ripped through the Ottawa area back on the May long weekend when we were having the Flagstick Open. And unfortunately, the Ottawa Hunt Golf Club was one of the hardest hit golf golf properties during that storm. Over 1,100 trees knocked down as a result of it. So their team has been doing an amazing amount of work, like an incredible amount of work. I mean, if you went on that property and short of a few things here and there, if you'd never been on the property before, you would have a hard time guessing that a storm of that magnitude had actually 100%. Struck the golf course. And while we're familiar with the property and we kind of know what to sort of look for and things like that, it's unbelievable. It really is. And I mean, Eric obviously was quick to credit his team. He was quick to credit all the people that came and helped out, other superintendents from around the province, obviously arborists, all sorts of different different volunteers with the membership, everything. And what they've done there in just a short period of time, I couldn't believe it. I mean, the course is obviously perfectly playable. There's no issues at all with that. Yes, there's a few scars here and there as far as trees and work that's still continuing there, but just remarkable from what we saw.
Yeah, no, it was. I guess my expectation going there and playing was that I thought that I would see more carnage, if you will.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And yes, there's some cleanup work going on, and yes, there's going to be some cleanup work going on for quite a while, especially leading into this event. And but what I saw, I mean, like you said, if you haven't been on the property before, you really wouldn't think that a major storm whipped through and knocked out 1,100 trees.
Like not 5 weeks ago, that's for sure.
You could see that there's some stuff happening, some tree damage, maybe there's some property work, repair going on, but you wouldn't think that a storm of that magnitude went through there. And you need to understand too, people need to understand, yes, this is one golf course, and many golf courses suffered similar fate. But the significance of this tournament for the Ottawa region, this is massive, because this isn't just about golf. This is about charity. This is about economics. This is a big friggin' deal for the Ottawa areas. This is not just about the Ottawa Hunt Club. It's not about
golfers. It's not all about golfers.
Keep in mind, the Ottawa Hunt Club is a private golf club, so they have members. The memberships have been paid. I mean, this is a golf course. They're maybe they're getting paid by CP. I'm not even going to get into any of that side of hosting a major tournament like this, but it's so significant to have an event like this in your community, in your region, because of what it does economically for the area, the people. There's going to be tens of thousands of people that are going to be swarming around the Ottawa area. They're not, they're going to be golfing. There's restaurants nearby, there's shopping, it's so to get this golf course in condition to be able to host this event and shuttle this many people around that property, it's huge, and it's so important. So, God, for what they've done so far, and they still have, a lot of work to do, I'm sure. It's going to be an awesome event in August. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, as far as economic impact, the last time it was there, I think they were close to $2 million or $2 million raised for CHEO, for an example. They're expecting targets over that. Obviously, have other partners as well. Health center in the kind of Westport, Smith Falls, Perth area as well. That's going to be supporting that. I mean, there's a lot of things that come from this. CP's raised, I think, $29 million or given back to charities, and I think 13 million of that has come through the CP Women's Open and the program there. So a big economic impact. So it's very important. Obviously, Mayor Jim Watson was on hand yesterday to give the key to the city for Brooke Henderson. That was a ceremony that it was an award that was announced in January 2020, but had been delayed because of the pandemic. But you could see the pride for Mayor Watson in talking about what this event means to the city and the impact, and even impacting the paving on Hunt Club Road, as far as he joked about, and as far as having that. But Canada is excited to host. I mean, all the team at Golf Canada, they love coming to the Ottawa region. When this event was held there in 2017, it was a super big success, and that has played into this one as well in 2022. And obviously, Ryan Paul will detail a few more things in the interview that we did with him. But, straight off the top, 10 of the top 10 players from the LPGA money list, 41 of the top 50 are committed, 16 of the top 20 current, the top players. And I mean, players that, we may have not seen here before, the Lexi Thompsons of the world. Obviously, Brooke's going to be there, Inji Chung, Minji Lee, Jennifer Kupcho, Hejin Choi, Lydia Ko. I mean, these are all players that have already committed to playing this event. Jessica Korda, which again is a big get. A lot of people are interested to see her. Celine Boutier, tons of great players, and ticket sales are through the roof. Hospitality sales are through the roof. And it's just going to be a great atmosphere at the end of August here at the CP Women's Open. And it was nice to get that first sort of big ramp up yesterday, and sort of jumpstart everything that's going to happen, along with a lot of other stories, which we'll get to in a bit, regarding things like Lorie, Kane and Brooke Henderson and so forth.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So we'll get to those. Like I said, we have those 3 interviews in the back 9 of the podcast, of this episode of the podcast, and we'll get to those things. We'd have a couple other things we want to get to in the front 9 before we even get to that. One of those things is the Tunis just finished up yesterday, the Alexander of Tunis, and for those who don't know, the Alexander of Tunis is one of the we'll call it the 3. I guess
the Triple Crown.
The Triple Crown, events that are sanctioned by Golf Quebec. The Tunis is the one that is run, sanctioned by Golf Quebec, but run by the Ottawa Valley Golf Association, and it's one of the majors. It's a 2-day event, and it rotates through
5 courses now.
It's
5 courses.
5 courses now. It used to be 3. It used to be just the Royal Ottawa, Rideau View, and Royal Ottawa, the Hunt Club, Rivermead, and the Hunt Club. And now it includes it also includes Rideau View, which is where it was hosted just recently, the last 2 days.
Yep, and Camelot's the 5th one.
And Joe Who Flagstick Joe was out on scene, bright and early in the morning till later in the evening, covering the 2 rounds, particularly yesterday's final round.
Yeah, and Hugo Denny win in a playoff over there at Rideau View. Nice local representation as well. Ryan Sevigny, who plays in our tournaments, tied for 3rd. Great competition, lots of strong field there, and the day was capped off as well by another presentation, something we've talked about on this podcast, the OBJ Hall of Fame, and it was the home club for John Holtzman, who was named as part of that class for that OBJ Hall of Fame, and they had a ceremony honoring him last night after the conclusion of the Tunis. So a nice way to wrap things up at Rideau View, who is always a great host to any type of event. And just talking to a couple of players, they said they could have been, better received at a club for sure. So, congratulations to Hugo on the win. Some fine play there. And that kicks off the Triple Crown. The Duke of Kent is next at Royal Quebec.
Nice. Now, speaking of Hall of Fames, you didn't think you were going to get through a podcast this close to the recent announcements surrounding the Ontario Golf Hall of Fame without me, making your face turn red a little bit, but deservedly so. The Ontario Golf Hall of Fame has its own inductions every year, and
normally every year.
A bit of a hiatus on this one for the last 2 years because of COVID. There were no inductions. There were no induction ceremonies that took place, which usually occurs up at the Golf Ontario's home base up in Uxbridge, and we've always gone up, participated in their golf day, gone to their induction ceremony at the golf club up there.
Wooden sticks there.
They're doing sort of a mass induction from the last 2 years and this year, and our very own as well as other inductees, which we will mention.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do that first.
Okay. So right? why don't you lead in with the other inductees for this multiple class,
so forth. So they obviously 2020, 2021, and 22 were the years that they obviously had to go back and cover. 2020, the inductee from a player standpoint was Danny Miovic. Long-time pro. I remember him playing the Eagle Creek Classic over the years, and rightfully so. Had a great career. Still involved in golf at King Valley and King's Riding, doing some instruction and stuff up there. They also have a special award, which again we'll get to a little bit. They have a Lauren Rubenstein Media Award, and the winner for that for 2020 was Tim O'Connor.
Right,
who obviously we know, quite well. Did a lot of work over the years for everything from Financial Post to Golf World to Ontario Golf Magazine, Golf Canada. Did a lot of PR work for Nike as well. And then heading into the 2021 category, we had a couple of players involved there. One from Eastern Ontario, so Brian McCann, First off, in there, won, I think, 15 different five national championships, 15 provincial championships, solid player. And then John Mills from the Belleville area. Obviously, we've known John quite well over the years. His dad was a longtime executive director of Golf Ontario as well, but, #1 ranked amateur in Canada or Ontario for quite some time. Won her on the Corn Ferry Tour, for an example. Now as a head coach at Kent State University and doing his best to kind of bring up other golfers in the world. The Lauren Rubenstein Media Award for that was Ted McIntyre, who obviously we know very well from Ontario Golf. Now, I should say there's two different ceremonies that are going to take place to kind of catch everybody up. There's one taking place on July 24th at the Ontario Open, which is the one where I think most of the players are going to be inducted in. Everybody had a choice in going to which one they wanted to go to. And then anybody that's, I think, in the builder and the media category will do October 17th at Wooden Sticks. The other two for 2022 inductees, David Stewart, Menzies Gourlay, who I wasn't really familiar with, but it was kind of interesting to find out about him. A longtime superintendent, a John B. Steele award winner as far as the highest honor for the Canadian Golf Superintendents Association, and Nick Genovese, who was a blind golfer, which was incredible to kind of look back and see his history at his Canadian Blind Golf Championships, and incredible for him to go in. Unfortunately, posthumous award there, I believe. And then there was a 2022 Lauren Rubenstein Media Award winner. Maybe you'll say that.
I mean, this one obviously I found out through you that this was happening, and we've been following obviously the Ontario Golf Hall of Fame since the start of the induction ceremonies, and we've been watching as
2000 they started them. I think I've been to 18 of the 20 ceremonies.
So we've been seeing the players being inducted and people being inducted in the builders category, and obviously the Lauren Rubenstein Award that came along as well, and watching those get inducted. And you always wonder, because we are in the golf media. I mean, this is what we do. We've been doing for 26 years now, and you always think about, I guess because we're in it, we don't think about being honored for anything, because it doesn't seem like, even though we've been doing it for so long, it doesn't seem like that we've been doing it that long, because it's like you do it every year. You don't really think about the history so much about what you do.
It's like watching a kid grow, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when I got your text message, I mean, I was elated. I was beside myself. It's just like, this is so cool. But for those listening and watching, that our very own, my best friend here, Scott McLeod, is being honored as the 2022 Lauren Rubenstein Award recipient for this year's Ontario Golf Hall of Fame ceremony. So congratulations to Scott.
Thank you.
Very deserving.
Unexpected but humbled.
Very deserving. I think it's hard when people just see what we're doing here. They see a story here in the magazine, they see stories online, they read our road trip things, and they kind of just like, I guess there's an allure to what we do, that it's all cool, and it is, and it's what we do, and we don't do it, we have fun, we enjoy it, and that's why we do it. Otherwise, as our good friend Joe McLean, who was also recently honored by the Ottawa Sports Awards for his contributions to golf, is that when it starts feeling like a job, that's when you stop doing it. And for Scott, it's not so much what you see that gets me, that grasps me as to why he deserves this award so much. It's not what you see in all those editorial pieces. It's what you don't see, the contributions behind the scenes to golf and the golfers for the past number of years. I mean, that's what this is to me. It may not be by definition what the award maybe is about, but for me, that's the part that I think people don't really see or understand or realize is just how much goes into the work behind the scenes, behind the print, behind the text that you see on the screen. And that's why I feel like this is such a very deserving honor and very deserving award for Scott. So again, congratulations.
Thank you. Like I said, it's not something you work towards, but you're certainly, humbled and proud when, your work gets recognized. And, when Mike Kelly pulled me aside at the RBC Canadian Open Media Day, actually, and told me about this, it was kind of funny, and I'll give you the full story at one point or at some point, but I didn't know what was going on. He literally pulled me into a room at St. George's, and I thought, oh my God, did someone die or whatever the case, and and let me know. And obviously we've done a fair amount of work here in Ontario, and obviously you're a big part of that. And I'm not going to get into my speech today or whatever, but
save it.
There's a lot to go into it as far as October, as far as people to thank and so forth. But you just do what you love, and you just do your job every day, and you do more than your job every day because it's something that you appreciate. I love the game of golf. I love doing whatever I can to help the game of golf. And it's not just stories and whatever, as you said.
Yeah.
There's lots of other community work, there's lots of other things I've been fortunate to be part of with Golf Ontario over the years as well. So I was honored for sure. And it still kind of boggles my mind because yesterday was a great example. Get to the Ottawa Hunt Club, and one of the very first people I see is Lorie Kane, and Lorie, congratulates me right away, which is just like, it's just like surreal.
It is, isn't it?
You're just like going, oh, okay. You know what I mean? But in your mind, you're obviously grateful, and you're fortunate that people maybe recognize the body of work that you do. And so thanks to everyone who's reached out, many people in the last number of days. And just we'll keep trucking on.
It's going to be a good day in October.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Okay. One last thing to get through before we got to take a break is we want a little update on Kurtis Barkley, who happens to be over in Ireland.
Yeah,
playing. I mean, this guy is man. I mean, we've talked about Kurtis for a long time, and he just he's really gotten heavy into the tour that he's playing now, that he's participating in, and he spent a lot of time in Europe playing golf, which is great to see, and he's got a lot of support behind him. But he's over in Ireland now. The weather, man, I saw some of his posts. Oh gosh,
it was not nice.
No, but he's there.
Yeah. And you know what? This is the Golfer Disabled Tour, which is now being run in conjunction with the DP World Tour. And, it's given an opportunity for some of the best, disabled players, as they call it. I call it all abilities more than anything, to go and have an opportunity to compete on the same golf courses that, the DP World Tour players are playing. Unfortunately, they get the same weather as well. So, and that's a hard part for Kurtis, who's obviously from, down just south of Ottawa here, but he struggles greatly as far as that weather and getting himself warmed up and things like that. So it's a hard go for him, but he's 5th ranked in the world for players with golfers with a disability. Again, I'll put that in air quotes because I don't really love that term or whatever. Didn't have his best finish here at the Horizon Irish Open, but finished up in 10th place. But another great experience for him to go over and do that. And, ever since he, said he was going to really focus on that tour a few years ago, been extremely proud of how he's got himself organized, got his sponsors sort of involved, and, he's still an amateur, but he's still got to cover off all his expenses and travel. And his mom went over with him to this one. He's had various people go over and caddy and go with him and take part in the trips, whether it was his dad, girlfriend, whatever the case may be. But yeah, good to see. And, he's got more events ahead for him, including the All Abilities Championship for the U.S. Open All Abilities Championship, which is going to take place down in Pinehurst fairly soon here as well. So keep trucking, Kurtis. We obviously follow and support him, and we're looking forward to more success for him in 2022.
Cool. All right, that'll do it for the front nine. We gotta get out, take a quick break. When we come back, we've got our lesson tee with Kevin Haime. We'll see what the deal is with this tennis racket, and we've got the 3 interviews that Scott did yesterday, whenever, this week at the CP Women's Open. We'll see what those are all about. But first, we got to get out and hear from our podcast sponsor, Srixon Golf Balls. Stay with us.
With Z-Star Series Divide, Hideki sees it all. See? There's the spin, and boom, that's the line. Introducing the two-tone Z-Star Series Divide, only from Srixon.
All right, and here we are. We are back, and it's time to jump out onto the lesson tee again. The lesson tee is brought to you by Kevin Haime Golf School. It's always the right time to play better golf. Whether you need private lessons, a better short game, some putting help, or custom club fitting, visit kevinhaime.com, and remember that better golf is a lot more fun. Now, this week on the lesson tee, Kevin is going to help out with your hand and arm motion. He's going to try to explain that a little bit more. And there's a Kevin is known a little bit for some of his unique homemade training aids that they're more for visual. A lot of them is to help you understand things. So check out the tennis racket in this one. Okay. So check this out. The lesson tee with Kevin Haime.
Okay, golfers, we're back in our Gears 3D motion capture studio, but my tech expert's back there, Jake again. Jake, you're going to show us a PGA Tour player, right, and describe some numbers for us?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'm using a little invention of mine where I drilled a golf club into a tennis racket to explain face position and how little really in a good golf swing, Jake, that face rotates and rolls around, right?
Yeah, the best players and the best ball strikers are using the rotation of their body through impact to square the face and minimizing how much their hands are moving, which maximizes face control and makes it simple to swing quickly through the golf ball.
Yeah, I would say that if you feel like you need to use your backhand to roll and square the club up, you're either really out of position with the club face or the timing of your body relative to your arms. When I swing this giant tennis racket with the golf iron sticking out of it back, you can see the tennis racket does not move and rotate and roll around a lot. We see a lot of flipping and rolling, and you don't want that. You want that nice, quiet, turn my chest, swing my arms up. That club gets parallel to my target line, the line between the ball and the target, right on my toe line, halfway back, halfway down, and then on the other side. And it doesn't feel like I'm moving my wrists around a lot as I do that. Let's see the pro, Jake. Let's see those numbers. I'll just keep swinging here so people can get a grasp for it. I just turn my chest through, and my arms stay in front of my body.
Yeah, so when we look at the Tour Pro to mimic that, you can see that at the downswing 9 o'clock position, so there's a club in their downswing hits parallel to the ground.
Dead on, right?
It is
right
in line with their hands
there, just in a perfect position.
And parallel to their target. Yeah. From that position there, they turn their body through impact. You can see the chest turning, the hips opening up, and as a result, when you look face on at the golfer, there's not a lot of movement in the hands. The hands are stable, the face is stable, and as they then turn through to 3 o'clock, which is parallel to the ground on the way through the golf shot, we can see the golf club once again is parallel to the target line on their hands, and their face stays quite square in relation to their arms.
It's very neutral. So you can see as you swing back, you want the toe facing the sky, the toe of the club, and on the way through, you want the toe facing up. When you're practicing, everyone, try to keep your arms more in front of your chest, move your body properly, and feel like you have quieter hands, and you'll start hitting a lot better golf shots.
Okay, so now that explains the tennis racket, but it does make sense, and like a lot of things like this, and Kevin's not the only one to do this kind of thing, but Kevin's our guy, and we've seen a lot of what Kevin does, and with this tip in particular, that really does explain, especially when you see the 3D motion capture stuff along with it. It does explain the hand and arm motion during the golf swing.
Yeah, I mean, wrist movements are super, super important. Obviously, our wrist moves 6 different ways, so we can get ourselves into a lot of trouble. It's a short golf swing as well. Yeah, you see that exactly. Extension, flexion, supination, pronation, ulnar deviation, radial deviation. Basically, there's a...
I'm lost already.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But that's the thing, you can get into that. But, let's just say a lot of people just overuse their wrists. They do things, there's a lot of motion that's actually happening there. But the excessive motion is where a lot of people get themselves in trouble. And, the simplified way to kind of look at it that Kevin's using with his unique club tennis racket combination helps illustrate it. And that's what you're really trying to do. You're trying to show golfers the concepts of what's happening in their golf swing. And once they have that concept in mind, it's a lot easier for them, if they know what they're trying to do, to really kind of, go ahead and do that. But if they don't understand the movements, they're not going to. So Kevin's device and coupled with 3D helps you out right there.
No, I can certainly tell you that there was excessive wrist movement in a few of my drives and a few of my iron shots yesterday. I don't know, when you hit it that high right and get no distance on it, and you just feel your hands flipping like this in the golf swing. Yeah, maybe I need the tennis racket.
Maybe get the old tennis racket back out.
Exactly. Okay, so time to move into the back nine this week. Some great stuff to get through in the back nine this week. But first, presented by Golf Sim Gurus. Work on your game all year round in the privacy of your own home. Custom golf simulators built to your specs to fit your budget. Visit golfsimgurus.ca to learn more. Maybe get a simulator in your basement or your garage before the winter so that you can keep your swing and your golf game dialed in and have parties. All right. Now, earlier in the podcast, we dove into the CP Women's Open because we were at the media day, and we talked about the Hunt Club, and we talked about Brooke getting the key to the city honor. There were a couple other things that we didn't talk about, and purposely we decided we wanted to save those so that people could hear about them directly through the interviews that you one-on-one interviews that you conducted at the media day yesterday. So we'll kind of why don't you kind of set up the first interview, Scott, and then we'll just kind of work through the interview so people can hear what was said.
Ryan Paul, the tournament director, obviously had a chance to sit down with him. I last saw him at the RBC Canadian Open. We joked he was actually doing traffic control at the Maroon 5 concert during the RBC Canadian Open. They wear many hats at Golf Canada and many vests apparently as well. But it was nice for him to sit down, just as we did with Brian Crawford from the RBC Canadian Open. Sat down with Ryan, talked a little bit about, what's going into this event, the infrastructure, the size of it, the expectations of what people are going to see come August, and some more details and surprises as well, as far as other installations and things that they're going to be doing, which will lead into some comments from Brooke Henderson, for example, on one installation in particular, one activation, and how it's going to change the shape and the look and the feel of what's happening at the CP Women's Open this summer.
Okay, so let's get to the first interview. This is an interview that Scott did at the CP Women's Open Media Day availability with CP Women's Open Tournament Director Ryan Paul.
All right, we're sitting down here with Ryan Paul, the tournament director for the CP Women's Open here at the Ottawa Hunt Club on the media day, on a glorious day. First off, how excited are you for 2022 and the event that's upcoming here at the end of August?
Yeah, it's beyond excited. It's 3 years in the making, and really for us, what better place to come back after 2 years of cancellation than the Ottawa Hunt and Golf Club. It was such a special event in 2017, and the records that we set there with volunteers and attendance and hospitality, it just seems to be shattering that as we speak. So really excited for what's to come in August.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible here, that atmosphere in 2017, and obviously we're expecting more of that. You made some announcements today regarding, hospitality, volunteers, as far as the record pace and getting them to be here. Overall, what is going to be the atmosphere here? I mean, you've got the rink here, which, is a big announcement. Obviously, players are very excited about that. Brooke was just chatting here, and she's very excited. What are the thoughts as far as bringing that type of, the RBC Canadian Open flavor to the CP Women's Open?
Yeah, I think to answer the first question, electric is what the atmosphere is going to be, and really, what we've found for both of our national opens is, I don't want to say getting away from a golf tournament, but just adding to the golf tournament of a sports and entertainment property and the festival atmosphere. So, we're getting all of it with rink holes and exciting places to go and cheer on the players and get a little bit louder, get a little bit more excited. We have the Recipe Unlimited fairway with all of our restaurants, so you have that food atmosphere. There'll be some music going on there too. So the golf is still first and foremost, but just adding to the spectator experience has been working well for both our events.
Well, obviously this event doesn't happen without great players, great talent. We know that historically the CP Women's Open has attracted a great field. Announced today that the quality of the field. Why don't you give us the sort of the synopsis on the quality of the field so far that's committed to the event?
Yeah, well, early commitments have been very strong and continue to grow. So the numbers that we say we only expect to get stronger, but all 10 of the top 10 on the LPGA Tour money list, 41 of the top 50. I think we're at 83 or 84 of the top 100. And like I said, that number is going to continue to grow. And we got a very decorated group of past champions with Lydia Ko and Jin Young Ko, Brooke Henderson, Arya Jatanagarn, So Young Yu, like the list goes on and on. So we have 7 of our past champions, 9 Canadians, Brooke Henderson, Lorie, Kane, and Modemi LeBlanc leading the charge with a number of exemptions to be announced in the coming weeks as well. So very, very strong field, and chasing them is the Jessica Cordes and Lexi Thompsons and all those players as well.
Yeah, what's it like for you as a tournament director when you get those players signed? Because as we talked about, it is the centerpiece for the event. You can do anything you want, but you've got to have those athletes here. How secure does it make you feel that we're sitting here in June and you've got all those players already committed? Yeah,
very, very humbling, and I love going down to the Chevron Championship I go to every year and start the recruiting process. And I'd have to say it's one of the fun parts of my job, and it's one of the easier parts, because once we start talking CP Women's Open, the players are usually quick to just get me to stop talking. You're like, we're coming, we love it. The way that you treat us, the food that CP puts together, the way we treat the caddies with the Leavenworth Caddy Lounge, the hospitality from the volunteers and the clubs that we go to. It's a pretty quick circle on the calendar when the event comes, and I think a lot of players were very, very excited to see Canada back on the schedule in 2022.
Now, obviously, there had been some issues here. We had a big storm that came through here in the May long weekend, created some issues for Eric Ruse and his team here. But why don't you comment a little bit about what you've seen here? Obviously, you came through and had a look at the golf course, and you've seen what they've had to do in dealing with 1,100 plus trees taking down in that storm in that Derrico. What are your thoughts when you go out here and see the golf course and how ready it is already for an LPGA Tour event?
Yeah, first impressions coming in yesterday was just wow. The way the course looked, the condition that it's in, just spectacular. And I guess I shouldn't expect anything less from Eric and the team. They do a wonderful job. But really driving around and seeing all the trees that had gone down was crazy. And then maybe where most people playing media day today didn't go was in the back, the boneyard as we call it, right. And that's where all of our operations is going to be. But then seeing all the trees that have been removed from the course and just piled up there, it really puts it into perspective how much or how many of the trees had come down. And walking the 18 holes, you see what's happened, but with how quickly that they've bounced back, you almost miss some of them. Yeah. And then you need the members and the staff to be like, oh, there was trees there, and you're, oh yeah, that's right. There's trees there too. So they've been incredible in the recovery, and I guess too, driving into the course today and seeing all the fallen trees outside the property on Hunt Club Road and coming from the airport, you see, wow, like it just unbelievable how many trees had come down.
Yeah, and as someone who got to play the golf course today, it's in remarkable shape. I know the players love it. They made mention of that all the times that they've been here. The hospitality has been wonderful as well. We mentioned a little bit about what we're going to see here, but any other details on infrastructure? Because infrastructure, if we look at the RBC this year and what was there, I mean, it was mind-boggling. When are we going to start to see set up here as far as on the grounds of the Hunt Club?
We're going to start building at the end of July. So I think July's 25th is when we're going to start our build. We had a very, very significant build at Magna in 2019, yes. and we're looking to be 40% bigger than that. Wow. And even before this, I was coming and looking at putting more hospitality on the golf course. So it's going to be really spectacular. And 18 is always wrapped with grandstands and hospitality, and now 17 being the rink hole is just going to have an element of its own. And 15 has the birdies for heart. So it's going to be excellent. And I really love the stretch of holes that we have, 15 to 18. Kind of looping around the tree line and coming back at the clubhouse is going to be a spectacular finish for the players.
One last thing. What are your thoughts with how Canada and corporate Canada has stepped up to support the LPGA in Canada and specifically the CP Women's Open? It's been incredible as far as seeing everybody step forward and realizing what a great product that is here. Does it surprise you? Does it, sort of say, hey, you know what? I knew it was that good, and it's nice to see them come forward. But what are your general thoughts on that?
I think we expected it to be good with coming back for the first time. I didn't expect it to be this good and to be this fast. Yeah. So usually we'll get some buyers that are coming in late and trying to scramble and find placements in that, but we're just so far ahead. And 18 were already sold out, 17 were sold out, 16 were sold out.
Wow.
So it's been surprising how fast it's been coming, and even now the amount of buyers that had been at the RBC Canadian Open and they're Toronto based, and they've been doing the Canadian Open for so many years, and now to see, wow, that was such a great experience. Okay, CP's in a couple months. We have to be here. We have to host our clients here. How do we get some hospitality and a can't miss event? Pro-Ams has also been a really great seller for us. One that you worry about sometimes when you've come back to a place, especially if it's only been 5 years, where you might have some buyers said, yeah, I did it, I enjoyed it, but I'll look at something else this time. Everyone's wanting to come back, and it really speaks to how great the players are and the experience that they put forward. We were talking to some players at KPMG, and a lot of them, they all say the same thing, that it's not a practice round for them. They're hosting a group, and they really show that in the rounds that they do at the Pro-Am.
So I guess the last thing is people need to buy their tickets right away, correct?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So cpwomensopen.com. We still have lots of ticket options available, and August 22nd to 28th, and looking forward to seeing everyone.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you here back in August.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just goes to show you just a lot of what's involved. I mean, we've run tournaments. But
not this scale.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing on the magnitude of something like this is just a massive undertaking. And to be, the guy in charge of that, despite how many volunteers and how many staff and how many support you have, you're the guy.
Yeah.
You got the TD on. So
yeah, you do. And, the good part for him is that, he comes from great experience. His dad was a longtime tournament director for the Canadian Open, for the RBC Canadian Open, Bill Paul. And, he grew up around this. He grew up around events and things like this. And, he, as he mentioned in the interview, he has the opportunity to go down and go to some of the other majors on the LPGA tour, see what their setups are like, starts to formulate ideas of what's happening for these. Obviously gets everybody involved as far as hospitality, all sorts of different things. And he'll be living in Ottawa for a month, getting this event ready. So thanks to Ryan for that. And I know it won't be the last time that we hear from Ryan leading up to the tournament, and certainly appreciate his insight and taking the time to sit down. As you mentioned, there was a media availability, but it was mostly sort of group availability. During the media day. So we were very fortunate that we were able to have the one-on-one options to deal with some of these people that are going to be instrumental in the playing of this tournament.
And it's great to see that new addition to the installation, if you will. Yeah. That is as Canadian as it gets.
It is.
And that is just going to be That's going to be a gong show. That's going to be so awesome to see that at the hunt. Man.
Well, why don't we hear actually from Brooke and hear what she thinks of it?
Okay.
I think that's a particular exciting portion of it for her, and you'll hear it in her voice as we talk about it and what it's going to mean to have that as part of the tournament. Again, obviously Brooke was on a very very tight, busy schedule. Very fortunate that obviously we've known her and her family for quite some time, and despite the fact that she didn't really have time to do a lot of
she made the time
stuff, she made the time. She came over and sat down, threw the headphones on, which were far too big for her head, as she said. And
that's a good thing.
Yeah, we just had a smiley little short chat, and certainly she appreciates what we've done at Flagstick here to cover her career through the years, and just taking a few minutes to kind of catch up during her busy schedule was certainly appreciated.
Cool. All right. Well, without further ado, let's have a listen to the interview with Brooke Henderson.
All right, a little quick session here with Brooke Henderson. Welcome back. What's it like to be back at the Ottawa Hunt Club for you?
I love it, to be back home in Canada and then to be in Ottawa is super cool, and I'm so looking forward to having the stars of the LPGA come here and to be able to show all the fans and my family and friends and just the whole Ottawa area like what we do every single week. And I think it'll just be super fun and super exciting for all of us, and to be an ambassador for CP and to be a small part of what they do for CP as Heart and raising amazing amounts of money and making huge differences in young kids' lives is really cool for me as well.
2017 was pretty special for you here. Didn't know what was going to be happening, and when we went into that week, and it turned out to be an incredible week. It's been talked about making the cut barely, and then setting a course record. Now you know what to expect coming into this. What are your expectations this year?
That 2017 was crazy. Seeing all the fans that showed up, I didn't not expect that at all. And I think this year will even be bigger and better. I'm so looking forward to that opportunity to play in front of that many people and hopefully play well and put myself in contention. But this is the week I look forward to most every single year, being on Canadian soil in front of the Canadian fans, and when I'm out on the road every single week and every tournament I play, and I feel that love and support from home. And so to finally be back after a long break, our last CP Women's Open was in 2019. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So to finally have it back and just to be able to share with the fans, I think is really, really awesome.
Just sort of a last thing here, we're going to have the rink here.
Mm-hmm.
I know immediately when I heard that was going to happen that you would be excited about that particularly. What is it that kind of goes into your mind when you think about having that that layout on the 17th hole here and what it's going to be like with those fans?
Have it at the RBC Canadian Open, the men's event, for years now. It has been super cool, and I know the fans love it, and I think the players on tour are gonna love it too. It's just so unique and so Canadian, which is awesome, and so I'm definitely looking forward to playing that hole 4 times later this year. And I just feel like it's so Canadian, it couldn't be more so, and I feel like that's the best part.
Do you think you're going to have to explain it to a few other players? They're just going to think everybody's nuts?
Yeah, they probably will think we're all crazy. But yeah, that's so cool. One of the best parts about playing on tour is that we get to travel to so many different places and experience so many different cultures and different ways of life. And, to have people come here to Ottawa, which is such a beautiful city and our nation's capital, and to have them experience Ottawa Hunt, which is such a beautiful golf course and always in pristine condition, and then to also showcase some of our, winter sport and what we're so passionate about on that rink hole, I think will be really cool, and it kind of shows a different side of Canada to a lot of players that would have never witnessed that before.
Awesome. Thanks, Brooke. Appreciate it, and good luck for the rest of the season, and we'll see you back here in August.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
5 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 15 minutes. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'll take 2-minute conversation with Brooke. Her energy and her happiness is so infectious. Like even at the media conference after the golf that we played, and they're all sitting up there, and you could just see. And the same thing with Lorie Kane. I mean, it's like, my goodness, like happy.
Yeah,
They're just
super
happy to be up there, happy to be talking about this event being in Ottawa, and happy to be talking about Canadian golf and the young women that are playing it. Like, it's infectious. You can't help but walk out of a media conference with them and go, I was in a crappy mood before, but I'm happy now. But great interview. Short and sweet and wonderful. And you can tell the excitement in her voice about the rink, if you will, is awesome. And
you know what? She grew up as a hockey player with the Smith Falls Bears. She was a goalie, so it's big to her. And as you heard in her voice there, she's kind of although she might have to explain a little bit to some of the other players what this is all about. Even talking about Lorie Kane, she was like singing during the media day about how I want to drive the Zamboni or whatever, and that's sort of our, our last interview here, but certainly, not last for any particular reason, but this was kind of an interesting interview for me. My family is obviously tied to Prince Edward Island, where Lorie is from. This was kind of a little bit emotional, as you'll see as we start the interview. Lorie obviously, announcing that this will be her last Canadian Open. This is her 30th that's coming up, and I knew that was coming. I was tipped off about that. It didn't make it any less hard to hear it. See the emotion in her voice, and also see the reaction of Brooke as well, because I don't think Brooke was really aware. And then when she heard that, you could see her well up as far as tears. She was very emotional. So this was good, just to sit down with Lorie, have that discussion, as I mentioned, seeing her from the first day yesterday, and she's 5 years older than me, but she's somebody that I've looked up to, just the way she's conducted her career. She's always been a great ambassador, not only for Prince Edward Island, but for Canada as well. Obviously a member of the Order of Canada, the Canadian Sports Hall of Fame, etc. Every award possible, and certainly well deserved. She's been an amazing ambassador for not only CP, lots of other different charities. She spends a lot of time giving back to charity, and getting to sit down with her, overlooking the 18th at Ottawa Hunt, where she'll be making a significant walk, come August. It was gracious of her to do this and sit down and talk about her legacy, talk a little bit about, what this event means to her, and also talk about the future of golf in Canada. So I thank Lorie for doing that once again, and, granting us a little time to have that conversation.
All right. So here's Scott's little sit down with Canadian golf legend Lorie Kane.
All right, so we're joined here by Lorie Kane, the great Lorie Kane. Lorie, obviously we're here for the CP Women's Open Media Day at the Ottawa Hunt Club. I will say you just made me cry a few minutes ago, and I know obviously it's very emotional for you. This is going to be your 30th CP Women's Open, and you've mentioned it's going to be your last. You're not retiring from golf, but no. As you mentioned, it's going to be the last time coming up to that fairway. Kind of what went into that decision for you, and maybe just share a little bit your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so thank you. I think a couple of things. I think COVID kind of put me in a place where I wasn't playing as much competitive golf as I felt I needed to be sharp. Which is unfortunate because, that's what we like to do, is compete. And I never wanted to have the feeling that I was taking up space. And the last little while, I kind of felt that. The less I was out on tour, the less I thought I should be really taking a spot at the CP Women's Open, away from another potential Canadian possibly. And I absolutely love what I do. I practice and work as hard now as I ever did. But it needs to come to an end at some point. And my playing time is, like you said, is not over. I think I think I can still be a part of things and not necessarily have to play.
Gotcha. The Ottawa has played a big role, a big chapter in your career. A number of national championships here, a number of tournaments, including a win here in the Canadian Women's Tour back in the day. Why don't you explain a little bit about your relationship with Ottawa and the events that you played here and how you've always been received here?
Yeah, so going back, 94, I think we played the De Maurier series, which was then. Tommy Moore caddied for me. I really felt that week like I'd become a member because it was such a warm feeling of being here. And since then, every time there's been an event here, it's even just gotten better. So I kind of do feel like a member. To be in our nation's capital, I don't know that you can find a more proud Canadian than myself. And to be a member of the Order of Canada, to have received it here on the Hill, and all of that, what it stands for is, it's I guess about me. So I thought this would be a really nice time to continue to showcase this great country of ours, and to our LPGA friends, as Brooke and I shared in the presser, and then it just feels right.
Do you feel in some sense, obviously you're here with Brooke Henderson today, but do you feel in some sense that there's a little bit of a handoff from you to her a little bit in the fact that, you're sort of, as you said, walking up that fairway, are you willing to give her that role or you're...
I think she's done she's that and more. 11 wins, that's more than any man or woman Canadian.
She's still chasing your top 10 record, though.
Yeah, well... okay, thanks. I got something. I think Brooke is prepared and has shown us that in her very young years, I think back, I was 30 when I got on tour full time. She's not close to 30.
No.
So she's doing all the right things, and I would still like to be the person that can be supportive of young women and young men, for that matter, playing this crazy game at the highest level that they can, and to showcase Canada, and then also to help CP continue to do what they do in the communities they do business.
What's your recent thoughts on the announcements from Golf Canada with Sport of the Foundation, Kevin Blue, obviously trying to get more Canadians on tour? As you said, you played a little bit of a mentor role, of a mentor role to a lot of these players, and they look up to you. What are your thoughts on that and the potential for those, that many Canadians to get to the LPGA and PGA Tour?
That's a lofty goal, but I think it's one that can be attained with the right planning. I think the naming of Sal and Jen as the female coaches, I got to spend a day and a half with the team at a camp they had at TPC Toronto. And I was really pleased with what I was watching. But I also was pretty direct with the girls as well, because as I said in the presser, Xander asked how do you encourage younger players? Well, there's a responsibility that comes to yourself. If you want to play this game at a high level, it's going to take commitment, and you're going to have sacrifices. And you have to do things for yourself. My dad and mom always said, leave it better than you found it. So I really think that if we can encourage young women, that there's support behind them, but they have to do the work. We can't, we can take them to the trough, but you can't get them to drink. I think there's opportunity, and I know that, I watched my first years on tour, and Dawn Coe-Jones and Lisa Walters and Gail Graham were being successful, and then Sandra Post had won, 3 times, and majors, and that excited me to be able to, push myself. So, I'll probably be the foot in a few butts to say, you want this, you got to work at it. Yeah. And you have to be accountable. I mean, Golf Canada is putting their name on it. They've got to have accountability across the board. Yeah. Mostly with the athletes, to be accountable to themselves and to the program. And I think that we just need to sit back and allow Kevin and the team to come together and come up with a strategy that's going to work, because we are a big country. I look at the things that are being done in Australia, and I look at Kari's commitment to, the series that she has, and I've been down there enough to know, and I've watched. They're doing it right, and they're producing. So I haven't had a chance to speak to Kari in quite some time, but I know when I do see her that I'm going to be picking her brain as to how she addresses the kids, because she does a hell of a job.
Yeah, I mean, obviously players like Hannah Green, were recipients of that and made...
and Minji Lee.
Minji Lee, exactly. Yeah, so great success that way.
Yeah.
You mentioned Xander. Nice to see him here today. Obviously, he was the CP ambassador the last time it was here. What's it mean to have the kids here? I know, you're a huge component as far as heart health, the effort that CP makes within the communities, and the personal impact of that as well. How important is it to see those faces here?
Well, I think it's very important, because I spoke earlier to someone that I said we need to do a better job of telling the story for CP and the investment that they make, and then what everyone who donates money to something wants to know where the money's going. And Xander, Aurora, the families that are willing to share, the stuff that's going on at CHIO, this new lab, the cath lab that's going to be, was established probably with the dollars that we raised last time we were here. The newer things that are going to come down the pipeline are all as a result of a golf tournament, funny enough, that has a railroad who likes to give back to the communities they do and encourage the community to give back too. So it's a win-win. But to see Xander, he's a special one, but they all are special. And I think I've been very fortunate. As Brooke gets on here, she will get to be able to be more a part. I've been doing that side of it just on a time-wise, because, I try to do as much heavy lifting tournament week as I can to allow her to just do what she wants to do.
Yeah.
Or needs to do, excuse me.
Yeah. So we're sitting here right overlooking the 18th at the Ottawa Hunt Club. What do you think it's going to be like? Have you sat and you thought about it? I mean, obviously you've thought about it, but have you really thought about what it's going to be to walk up that fairway?
Well, I'm going to have to do a little bit better than I did when I was coming up with the words to actually say out loud to anybody but a few people that did know. I'll either have Danny Sharp walking beside me or my niece Charlotte, and either way it will be good. Sometimes just making the decision is the toughest part, but it will be I won't lie to you, it will be quite emotional.
And hopefully it's on Sunday.
Thanks,
Lorie. Always appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, again, emotional. Yeah, you can definitely tell that there's emotion there. Now, 30th Canadian Women's Open, last as a player, but not last. Not last in involvement. Lorie will be involved as long as she can possibly be involved in women's golf in Canada, and continued promotion and aid in the growth of the game.
She's not disappearing.
No, not at all. Now it's interesting. When I started Flagstick in 1996, the CP Women's Open was the Du Maurier Classic back then, and as part of the Du Maurier Classic, there was a small series called the Du Maurier Series. And one of the stops on the Du Maurier Series was at the Rivermeet Golf Club. And Lorie, she won that series event. So this was back when they were doing that. And she was when I started the magazine, she was one of my very first interviews. And I was nervous as hell. Like, I mean, I swear to God, I was like,
of all the people to be nervous around, right? I mean,
and
you realize that eventually. Yeah,
I was a rookie. I just started this magazine. I by no means, and this, by no means was I a writer or a journalist. My gosh, I mean, you kidding me? I was an advertising sales guy. I was a marketing guy. I was a design guy. I was not in over my head, but I was doing what you needed to do to start a publication up like that. You didn't hire everybody to do everything for you. That's one of the reasons why, back in 1996, you were writing stuff behind the counter at the golf shop that you were part owner of back then, and trying to help me out because I couldn't start a story, let alone finish one. But I was doing an interview, and here's Lorie Kane. Now, Lorie Kane back then was Lorie Kane. I mean, she was somewhat iconic, but she was not the Lorie Kane that she is now. But she was on her way up, and she won this event, and I had to do an interview, and she was like, I didn't know what to ask, and I was like, I had my little 35 millimeter camera that had to get the film developed and black and white film and all that stuff. And she's sitting there, she says, I'm going to interview, and she's like, it's okay, relax. She's just ask me what you want to ask me. And I'm like, that personifies Lorie Kane right there. Yeah. She's standing in front of this, 25-year-old like kid, more or less. I mean, and even though she's only, at the time, 30, she's only 5 years.
Yeah, she would have been 34.
Yeah, so she's older than me, but not by much. Yeah. And she's just like, just relax.
Yeah.
Ask me what you want to ask me.
and that's pretty funny because, you consider how that went full circle. And, I think we've talked about it a little bit before, but, going to Prince Edward Island a few years ago, and it was the first time that
running into her in the parking lot.
First time you'd ever been to Prince Edward Island. And, it was a rainy day at Glasgow Hills. And, there's nobody else playing the golf course that day. No. I mean, it was not fit for ducks. And, we get set up to play and drive into the parking lot where we're lonely because there's nobody else in the parking lot, and here comes this red convertible Mustang pulled up behind us, and it's Lorie. So, greets you like you're a family member, and, that's just the way she is. And she treats everyone that way. And, obviously you got to experience that and her graciousness, even from early on, and knowing it. And, as she said, she didn't really turn pro until she was 29. She had finished school at Acadia, and first year on the LPGA was, at age 30. So she had a little bit more experience than some people, but, she's remained that way. She's the same. She's as approachable as anyone. She's just so kind, and I could go on forever. And I think a lot of people could. Anybody that's had an experience with Lorie can tell you that, she's super genuine. And, again, an emotional announcement for her at the CP Women's Open Media Day. And she said, a little bit after, outside the interview, that she's sort of glad that she actually let it out on the media day, that it just didn't build up. And it was just going to be, happen that day and announced. And she said that she feels that will take a little bit of a pressure off of it. But it's going to be a celebration. It really is. And and it's, we're fortunate that she gets to have that celebration here.
I know, isn't that
the national capital?
Yeah. It's great for the game of golf. It's great for women's golf, and it's great for us in this region to have that happening at this year's CP Women's Open. And let's hope, as emotional as that walk-up 18 is going to be in her final round of the CP Women's Open, let's hope that walk-up 18 is on Sunday.
Yeah, it's exactly what we said in the interview. We hope it's on Sunday. We really do. No matter what, though, she's done Canada proud. She's done herself proud. And it'll be a fun week. It'll be a fun addition to the week, and just another reason to celebrate what's going to be a great event.
Cool. All right. Well, that kind of wraps up all of our CP Women's Open talk for this week. That's a lot of great interviews, Scott.
Thank you.
Some great stuff there for everybody. If you don't have a chance to listen to all three interviews at once, that's fine. That's why we post these things on YouTube. And that's why we upload them to the various places that you're downloading the podcast and listening to it. Just save it, listen to it after, listen to it over and over again, whatever you like. But great stuff, and looking forward to August at the Ottawa Hunt Golf Club. All right, moving right through. We've got one more big segment on this week's Flagstick podcast is Product Watch. Product Watch is brought to you by Greensmere Golf and Country Club. Save 40% on all-day green fee rates with Flex Pass for only $425 plus tax. Visit greensmere.com for more information to pick up your Flex Pass. Now, Product Watch, we said right off the top, this is coincidental. This wasn't planned based on me playing golf this week at the Hunt Club. But yes, the beginning of this year, going back a bunch of podcasts, we said that I made the decision that I wanted to get some new clubs.
Yep.
And I wanted to try something different. And there were some clubs that I was really kind of interested in. I liked how they looked, but I mean, of course, how they look, how they perform, different animals, but I liked how these looked, and I was very fortunate that our good friends at Cleveland Srixon Golf Canada, Max Christensen, they set me up with a brand new set of irons this year, brand new set of woods, hybrid, new putter, which was a major new thing for me because that's I've changed things here and there over the years, but my putter's been pretty standard for quite a long time.
All right, before we get too far, here's the really big thing. I want to see how you're going to pronounce the name of these irons, not the brand name, but we're in Canada. So is it the one or the other? Is it the Americanized name? You'll know what you'll know what I'm saying as soon as you say it, because I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it in other ways. And then people are like, no, that's not the way to say it. And I'm like, well, we're in Canada, so that's just the way we say it. So you go ahead and say
I'm going to say it, and maybe I'm going to be wrong. But
now you're thinking about it.
The product watch this episode is the Srixon ZX-7 irons. Okay, not ZX. ZX-7 irons. This is what's in my bag. And let me tell you, I know Scott's gonna get it maybe a little bit more of the technical side of the clubs. It's not, but the thing is, it's not really so much about the technical side. I could spout off some marketing technical terminology for you, but the bottom line with these ones, and just because this happened, this week that I finally had a chance to play them, I re-gripped them, all the clubs. I re-gripped everything. I do my own re-gripping. You don't have to, but I do my own. And I re-gripped them, and they were awesome in my hands, and they feel so soft. These irons they're beautiful looking when I put them down. I'm not one that likes a clunky looking iron.
Clunky being thick top line,
thick
lots
top
of offset.
Line. Sorry, let me. I don't want to make the negative here, but I don't like a thick top line. I don't really like to see the back of the club when I set it down on the ground, like like some of them that are a little bit thicker on the top and the thicker sole. I'm more of a blade guy, but obviously I'm not a blade player right now. But these are very, very blade looking when you set them down. A very thin top line, very clean lines. Leading edge is very easy to line up for me.
Slightly rounded toe. It's not a really sharp toe.
Steel shafts for me in these, which my previous set of golf clubs that I had graphite shafts in, and really good graphite shafts, and maybe at some point I might pop and switch, but I really liked how these felt when I hit them.
And switch, is that your
oh God, move? Don't even go there. Okay, we're doing product watch. We're not doing TikToks. God, not the TikToks. But these are very, and they felt so awesome for being the first time I played them. I barely even hit any on the range. Like I might have hit an 8-iron and a 6-iron, a pitching wedge, and they felt great on the range. I'm like, let's go, and they were awesome. Just an awesome club.
This is an iron, or these category of irons. They've obviously had the ZX5, ZX7s, but the ZX7s predominantly, they've been a choice for a lot of players that have been, agnostic in their choices, especially when we go to the tour level. We see a lot of players who maybe are not under contract that slip these or Mizuno iron kind of into their bag. And if you deal with fitters, and I obviously have friends with a fair number of fitters that do agnostic fitting around the country, and this has proven to be a very popular iron with them for a number of reasons. One, that feel. Obviously, it's a single piece forging, so a lot of people like that as far as the feel of it, because of the softness of it as well. But not excessively, but enough as far as the feel and the performance. They're malleable enough that they're easy to fit for loft and lie changes, for an example. And as you said, for a player that's maybe used to kind of want that blade look, but they want the performance, they want some help, they want some higher moment of inertia, less twisting of a cavity back iron. This provides kind of the best of both worlds. So, which is kind of nice. And as I said, this would be more the player style with a slightly narrower sole. ZX5 or ZX5, I almost said ZX5. ZX5 has a little wider sole, a little bit different shape, a little bit more help that way. But these ones in particular, certainly for any player that's kind of in that player's category that wants that performance but wants a little bit of help, they sort of fit right in there.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed playing them. I'm going to enjoy playing a few more rounds of golf, hopefully, with them. And thanks again to Max and the team at Cleveland Srixon Canada for Mint Green Group, I should say, for setting me up with those. But if you get a chance, have a look at these irons. And I think you'll see what I saw. And even if the ZX-7 is not the one for you, they do have other irons in the line that are also very clean, some more game improvement style. But these were awesome, and I really enjoyed them. So, perfect. All right. Well, that's going to do it, Scott. That's going to do it for episode Lucky 13 of the Flagstick podcast. Lots of stuff that we got through this week. Lots of great announcements. Lorie Kane announcement. Brooke Henderson getting the key to the city.
Do we maybe have one more announcement?
Oh,
maybe
yes.
Maybe a contest?
My bad.
We've had a few people. We teased it last week.
My bad.
We've had a few people asking about it. We've had a few people jumping on to be subscribers.
Yes, because we did mention that you could start. We were going to do this. So yes,
exactly. So why don't you reveal the details of that?
YouTube is one of the areas where this podcast is available.
One of our platforms,
and obviously it's available in audio forms and stuff, but YouTube is, and we're trying to do more with the YouTube channel, not just this podcast, whether it's other special interviews, whether it's additional golf instruction, whether it's product reviews or little course things that we're going to be adding and doing some different things over the course of the season and beyond with the YouTube channel. So we really want to encourage people to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And sometimes you got to give people a little nudge, once you see what's on there, I think you're going to enjoy it, but you need a little push in the right direction. So why not have a contest? So we are launching, technically launched last week, but we're officially launching our flagstick.com Flagstick YouTube channel contest, where you can win a Cleveland Frontline putter, a Cleveland RTX Zip Core wedge, or a dozen Srixon Z-Star Tour golf balls.
Nice. What do they have to do to
three good little prizes there? You got to go to the YouTube channel. You have to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you have to leave a comment saying, I want to win free stuff.
Simple as that.
I want to win free stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to win free stuff, which who doesn't want to win free stuff, then you leave that comment and boom, you're entered into the draw. And we've got about 3 weeks of this contest campaign that we're going to do alongside of our good friends with Cleveland Srixon and the Mint Green Group that are helping sponsor this contest for us. And
and you can leave that comment on any video.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
if you're going through. We'll see that. Obviously, we get to see who the subscribers are, and we'll do a random draw is what we're going to do for those prizes, and we'll do that from our subscribers. And don't just do it for the contest. Do it for the content as well. Yeah, exactly.
So, like we said, we think once you're there, once you see some of the stuff we're doing on YouTube now, beyond just the podcast, I think you'll be happy that you did subscribe. So
yeah, for sure.
There you go. So that's the contest. Okay, now we got to get out. Show's over.
You got it.
Thanks, of course, to our sponsors, Metcalf Golf Club, Golf Sim Gurus, Greensmere Golf and Country Club, the Kevin Haime Golf School, and our presenting sponsor this week, Srixon Golf Balls. Whether you're looking for a premium urethane option in the Z-Star series, a quality budget option in the soft feel, or somewhere in between with the ZQ Star Tour, Srixon Golf is bound to present an option that will work for your game. For more information, visit srixon.ca. Hopefully, I know you're enjoying the podcast. Yeah. Come on, who am I kidding? So. You're loving it. You're loving hearing it, and we want you to watch it, so get it to the YouTube channel. Be sure to follow us across all social media networks, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Audible, and, of course, Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, YouTube channel. Like us, click the notification bell to make sure that you don't miss a single episode. And be sure to get over to flagstick.com. Tons and tons of great golf content delivered to the website all the time, daily. So you don't want to miss any of that.
You got it.
All right. Well, once again, we appreciate you tuning in and listening and watching us. I am Jeff Botter.
I'm Scott McLeod.
And always remember, go for the stick.